Hello and welcome to a new episode of Premier Perspective. Today we are joined by the one and only Mike Jago.
No.
Today we will be talking about the Liverpool and Tottenham game that just occurred and ask Jago some questions on how he feels about the game, why he loves this team that he stuck by for so long, and everything and more. So
I'm
All right,
ready.
so to get it started, Coach Jago, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for
Really
having me.
happy to have you. Let's just get it going with what made you a Tottenham fan. When did you start to become a Tottenham fan? I
You
guess
want
let's
you want the short answer or the long answer?
something in between.
Okay, so we're in between. All right. So like I've had the same like group of friends since high school, and I didn't get into soccer until like late. I didn't try out for the soccer team until like my junior year, um, and so I was never really into it. But I would always play with them, and because like they were all soccer players. So years later, I was a big Spanish soccer guy. I Ronaldinho is my favorite player of all time. So I got to watch him growing up and fell in love with him. And then New York City FC came along. I know Javi isn't a big fan of them, but I got season tickets to them and I became a fan of them. And I was like, all my friends have Premier League teams. Like my one friend's a Liverpool fan. My two other friends are Chelsea fans. Um, but my best friend's brothers were Tottenham fans. And so I was like, I'm looking for a team, but I don't want to hop onto one of the big clubs because that'll just make it seem like I'm, piggybacking on them. So I want to find someone who's good, but not too good. And when I started rooting for Tottenham, they weren't like top of the league Tottenham. They were, middle of the pack. Usually like fifth or sixth. So, like that was perfect for me. So I ended up just like kind of liking them. And, since then it's just kind of flourished into now I don't miss a game unless I have to.
yeah, I know for me, I always get that all the time when I tell people that I'm a City fan. People usually like the first thing is like, "Oh, you're a bandwagon," like you're only liking them because they're top of the league. But my story with them, I always tell people my story about why I'm becoming a City fan, but no one ever believes me. So like I just don't even explain at this point. But yeah, how would you sum up in just a little bit how you felt about the way Tottenham played today against Liverpool?
I I think it's like your kind of classic Tottenham performance. Really, it's not going to be spectacular. Um, it probably won't be pretty sometimes, but it either works or it doesn't work. That the whole sitting back and it not really was ever my style to sit back and wait for teams to make mistakes so you can go through those. Never really my style, but sometimes it works, and when it works really really well. And then there are other times when they get caught, and especially against these bigger teams, sometimes they get caught, and it happens. I like I said before, I'm really kind of indifferent about this. I'm not upset they lost. It is what it is. I still think they're a threat to win the whole thing, and there's a lot of soccer to go.
I think they played like really well, and like you said, that the counter attacking and just staying back and waiting for the opponent to make a mistake. A lot of times, it does work, and when it works, again, it works well. But today they had those opportunities, but it doesn't work well if you don't take the opportunities. It would have worked if they capitalized. So Bergwijn hit the post. He had one chance that he should have put away that Trent Alexander-Arnold defended really well. But other than that, they had. Don't get me wrong, Liverpool had their opportunities too. That game could have been 4-3 if if teams took their opportunities and were capitalized on it a little bit better. But especially Tottenham, if they're going to play that way and have 25% possession against a team like Liverpool, who's going to attack you for the whole 75% of that rest of that time, they better put those chances away, because that's what ended up killing them at the end.
I think they caught. I think it took them like maybe I want to say the first 30 minutes to kind of feel the game out. I think after the 30-minute mark, it kind of started flowing a little bit better. I thought the first 30 minutes, I thought they didn't really play that well at all. And then they kind of caught a flash in the pan with Son scoring the equalizer, and then that kind of lights a fire under him. But it's tough when you have a man advantage for almost 35 minutes. It's tough when you have a man advantage for 35 minutes and not only don't capitalize, but you lose. That kind of stinks, but what can you do?
Yeah, I think Tottenham would have been pretty like happy considering the way the game was going if it ended in a tie. And I think a 90th minute winner obviously is what's upsetting for them. But if you look at the way Liverpool played, they had 11 shots on target, 800 completed passes, and 76% possession.
Yeah.
So, if anything, Liverpool, although they did win, they could look at it like they should have capitalized more and that they should have been ahead earlier in the game and put it to bed earlier, not wait till the 90th minute for a winner. But obviously, either way, they're going to look a win is a win. But a tie would have been really great for Tottenham, and then Liverpool would have looked at it like an extreme disappointment.
Yeah. I mean, I would, I would tend to agree. I think this is all new. I want to say to Tottenham, like not that like
For
they're not
sure.
prepared for it. Like obviously, the person you want in charge is Mourinho in this situation. I think he's proven time and time again he can be in charge of a winning club. But I think like the players that have been with Tottenham for these years, the Harry Kanes and Son and all those guys. This is all newer territory to them. It's kind of it was looking up and kind of chasing teams up top. Now it's our teams are chasing us, and it's a different mindset. And I think it week week by week, it'll fluctuate based on their performances. But I also think allowing fans. Liverpool at home was already tough. Now they got fans back. Although 2,000 of them, they were still very, very loud. I think that makes a difference too. So, and it's the second half of the season, I want to say, is going to be a really different journey than the first half, especially with fans being let back into these stadiums. They're going to make a difference.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially considering that Tottenham doesn't have Champions League competition. I don't know when Liverpool are going to get out of the Champions League, but assuming they continue to go through, Tottenham are for almost surely going to continue to go through, possibly even win the Europa League. But they're not coming up against that same level of competition that a team like Liverpool is. And, schedule of games is something you definitely need to look at. I think once Tottenham is able to slow down and kind of be like, okay, this is how we played in the beginning of the season. This worked for us, this didn't. This is what we need to fix in order to make sure that we capitalize on all of our chances and that we get the most out of every game possible, because every team's been struggling with that this season. Out of 13 games, top of the table, Liverpool is 28 points. That's not a lot for usual. And then the ones right below it are even less. It's almost like a 2-to-1 point ratio or even less.
I think at this point last year they had 34. I think the telecast said so. Like at this point last year they had 34 points compared to 25 entering this game.
Yeah, it's just like overall, teams have been struggling to capitalize and struggling to. It's almost like everybody's trying to find, even if they have their identity of their team, they still have to find what they need, like the kinks they need to work out. And Tottenham, like you said, they're new to this. They're not used to being top of the table. They're not used to being chased by a title-winning team. In Liverpool, a team that played absolutely exceptional today. But Tottenham, once they get used to it, and Mourinho, who has plenty of title-winning experience with other teams he's coached, once he's able to step back and be like, all right, this didn't work. This is how we're going to go forward. Maybe even attack a little bit more, get out of that just defensive, because teams are going to take advantage of that soon enough. A really good team, a talented team is going to be able to break right through because their defense didn't look great today. Nothing special. They didn't look bad, but nothing great. So once they're able to figure that out, step back, analyze, all right, this doesn't work. this is going to help us take that next step. The second half of the season is going to be big for them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think a pivotal point in their season is actually right now. They're if Tottenham wants to continue to challenge for this title and be one of the top dogs, I think what's really important for them is to maintain form. And right now they're coming off a draw and a loss, and now their next two opponents are home versus Leicester and away at Wolves. So it's two tough games coming up. So I feel like for Tottenham and for Mourinho, like it's a big statement if they're able to win these next two games and take some points and continue to be on the top.
Face them again. Do they face them again?
Yeah, I think again in the end of January against Liverpool. I see
Yeah,
January 28th.
20, 20. Yeah, I mean, I listen. As long, like you said, as long as they keep getting points where they can get points, they'll still be in the thick of it, and they can. This is the year to do it. It's the the year they finished second when Leicester won the whole thing. That those are the years to do it when I don't want to say big clubs, but when these high profile clubs like your Liverpools, your Manchester Uniteds, your Chelseas, you know, I feel like everyone that is a fan of Tottenham can admit, Tottenham is not. I believe they could be, but I don't think they're as big of a club as those other clubs. But I think if their success continues and they keep bringing in these high profile people, like I think they can be. But um, I think this second meeting is going to be much of the same. I think it's going to be hard fought. Will end in a draw, or there'll be like a last minute winner like there was today. I think it's going to be much more of the same. I think the stakes are going to be a little bit higher than next time though.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with that point of the season and the amount of games that are on right now at the end of December, beginning of January. Um, there will definitely be. I feel like at that point of the season, there will be more of a set like who's actually still fighting for this title.
Yeah, I agree.
And if Tottenham and Liverpool are still both up there, which I think they will be at that point, then you're really gonna have a good game that day.
And you know what the best part of it all is? It won't be Arsenal. That's the best part.
That's just
Yeah, another dropped points today from Arsenal.
yep. Aubameyang finally scored though, so
Yeah, for his own team.
on
Right?
his own team, right?
No, but he scored today.
No, he scored today. He scored on his own team at the weekend. But
Yeah, on
today,
the weekend. Today he actually scored for,
he
and
actually
that was his first open play goal of the season, because his other goal was a penalty. So this is his first. It took him 13 games to score an open play goal. And that's after that, as we've talked about it earlier in our show about how he got the huge contract this summer and has absolutely not lived up to it. 2 goals in 13 games. Arsenal in 15th place.
I think it'll be a little till we see Arsenal up there.
They asked Mourinho what he said to Klopp at the end of the game, and he said, "I told Jurgen that the best team lost, and he disagreed."
That's such a Mourinho.
You're absolutely right. It was something very
Yeah.
typical of him.
That's a very typical Mourinho response.
I personally thought Liverpool played like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone could say that
I mean, you can't
Liverpool
look
was
at
the
the
better
stats
team.
otherwise. Like,
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
they were 100% the better team.
yeah.
It's clear, very very clear. But it is what it is. Like I said, they're only 3 points back now. They're still in it. As long as they get points where they should get points, they'll still be in it at the end. So here's hoping.
Yeah, for sure. Tottenham will definitely be looking to continue their great form that they've been in so far this season. They have another big game this weekend against Leicester City, which me and Ryan will be covering later on in the week. We want to say once again a big thank you to Coach Jago for coming on to our show today.
Thanks
We
for having me.
really, we really appreciate it. And we thank anyone who's watching, and we hope to see you guys all soon. So see you guys.